happens. There's just such
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, it's established one. So we'll sell, that's not here. When it's not going on, not happening. Oh, you were able to print that out? Oh. I was worried for you, I wasn't sure that was not. Awesome. Okay, so for financial reports, I did not reconcile June yet, but, okay. But we can. Or that, or middle.
So I provided through June 25th in the reports in the packet, so. Are there any particular you want to look at?
Alright, so. Yeah, so these are just through June 25th, but it's not hard to understand. So as far as I say, I mean, we also have discussed at board meetings, and today information from then, and the only invoice since then was the bill that was paid that was. So just talking in the finance committee piece, what I know, like I mentioned, at a board meeting where we talk about like the assets. Just kind of want to have like a deeper conversation, especially with Tracy Paul, and having a lot of sort of knowledge with all of this, the process of this. So from a paper standpoint, like it's not, I understand that like a one project can like, they change everything, and that's essentially what is in the pipeline. But I just didn't know if there was anything that you would bring to the board, like concerns that I should highlight. Is it okay how I bring up the net assets? Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing to keep an eye on, because eventually if there's not a project, there is.
Yeah, and I think like when we did the budget, like we were talking about, especially like the three, like, but now it's realistic, really.
Yeah, and one of those projects, is somewhat stalled. Yeah, so the builders,
Oh, yeah, years.
yeah, so they did their railroad piece. And then it seems like they should release. I heard through the grapevine, so take that for what it is, that, they're considering what their situation is, with certain tariffs and why they're not going to Canada, so I would not be surprised if that project either continues to be delayed or, pops up completely all of a sudden, I don't know. So as far as I know, they say segment was paid, that money off in the city and. So that one was one that I was expecting to move forward, that hasn't. Another one I was expecting to happen in September was I was expecting that this fall we would get an application from. The housing project. Apartment housing project that could still happen, but I think there's still be, fair housing. Yeah. So we might still get that application. This year, and then. There's one more that. We're expecting this year that is, yeah. But we still have a very active pipeline, reaching out for monitoring visits, and actually want to see customers and have an expansion, how real or, close that might be, but, you know, things are continually being, it's a big one, it's just a matter of getting it. And projects to application. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just knowing that it is very. But it's a very, yeah, it's like one day could bring all sorts of great news and. Do the turnaround, so, okay, so then I'll just. Point like those that out.
Yeah.
What, and. It doesn't necessarily mean bad, but it's just something to, focus on.
Yeah, and it might be worth like lagging a certain. At which they are. Past the summer. Coming quickly low. So that's interesting.
Do we have a bill, is there,
It's not a policy, but, you know, if you think about. You know, their cash and.
Yeah.
That's probably where the ones are like raising farmhouse.
yeah,
Like we cannot be. Parents. That's the current thing.
Do you think that the person, if somebody accountants will like to do something with the citizen?
Yes.
Like Ada,
Yes, I do. I think, thank you for bringing that up, because I think that was.
oh, what was, yeah, okay. Just answer that question, surveying, try to say it.
Oh, I even didn't think.
what question is it?
Oh, my God, like being
aware of. Yes, so, good point, Karen. They talked to us at, when we were at SOPs. It's about the running of industry, they have since been in touch about an application, and they're working on it. So I do think that it could be within the next couple of months that you see an application. And
Right, game changer.
that's a project,
Yeah.
but it's a good project for downtown, that's the, and it's, I mean, the citizen was great to have there, but it wasn't a public facing building.
Yeah.
And it has to be public facing and, active in the downtown area. That's a winner. Sometimes I say that, and that's not a winner.
Cool. And then I saw that, one of the pilot, little has not been yet. Is that something where the situation we're gonna have to, again?
I actually, I got an update from them this week, or last week. Cause we've been talking with them every now and again to figure out like, hey, what's the deal? It's weird because that particular pilot is for the building that they're putting themselves as an extra use. They have requested if they can pay in installments.
So how long is their pilot for, you know, off the top of your hands?
So their pilot is, or their pilot on that building is through the 2030-2032 pilot. So they've got another 9 years on it. You know, still 8 years on it. They have requested to. He's requested to do more installments, $5,000 each for 3, and then the balance you want first. And then we pay it off faster than we can, but that's the same
For
time,
installments?
must do more installments. And then, but the problem, like, if they close the building in the meantime, if they sell it, proceeds from sale should be. That should. because we're gonna have some. Technically, or we're going to, but it's something, so, so that is what they have requested. I don't get.
I'm only, it's 23,189, so like if you're going to buy it, or that your first 3 installments should probably be higher. That's fine, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah, so he's saying, so 5, and then it'd be like 8.
Yeah, so like if you could do like 10 and then by,
Say 10, 3.
well, no, like 10, I don't even care if it's like 10, 5, or I don't know, I just feel like going backwards, like,
And they also owe the, late fee, Be ready. If I go back, and probably try to get him to. Right. So.
is this one where, like, as we move forward with the rate piece of it, like the, that's what it's supposed to be. What did you say that you just,
The monitoring.
the monitoring?
So this might be a non-issue by the time we get to the period that we do annual review of all of the projects, because the building should be sold by then. And it's fully terminated or will be transferred to an owner. Which has not been confirmed. I did talk to the potential owner or the buyer, potential buyer about the options for the pilot. They can terminate it, they can take it over, or they can, if they have this. That's been terminated, so I haven't thought of it all. But they've not said what their preference is. But yes, it should be doing that. Arrangements with them to.
I was just. Being. Even a question. Because like then it just makes me think like wow, and taxes like that, what, yeah. Like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're in a hard place right now, and hence the need to pull back the business, and so they're in retention mode right now. As else.
Yeah, I'm not, I mean, not as judgy, I'm just saying like, but the appearance of it. Okay, and then,
So do you want me to go back to him and see if we would do a larger first payment, or if we would do 8 as the first payment and then the rest be 5?
I mean, I would kind of ask what your professional opinion is on that, I think. If he started with that 8,000, whatever, then 5. Right, since if this is divided into 4.
Well, we divided it, like, he basically did 20 kind of one.
Yeah,
Well, I've 3.
but that's
Rather
right.
than doing. Or. That's not possible. But.
Yeah, I mean, it'll have to be approved by the board, I mean,
Yeah, but
but
it's not standard operating procedure for us to send.
So it's just-
Installments, you know, I mean, eventually they like, really the matter is, they pay it when they pay it, and they have to deal with it like the late charges. That come with that, so our options are to say, okay, we won't default you under this agreement. Or we default you now, and now, say, you know what? We want to pay, we want you to pay your taxes, and have not, so we're providing for this default. You know, we should do something at this point, it's. At 7 months late now.
Yeah, and they're usually like this.
Well, they're not here, right?
Oh, they are.
They would just that.
Yeah, they're on to pay, yeah, they're right, just.
And then we, so then hasn't been paying it to, and I'm just taking installments, which I think is the same taxes, right? We would.
Yeah. I don't know, just the controllers of this, yeah, the more he's any candidates.
They don't necessarily care how you manage it, as long as it's. It's, make sure that technically. You're consulting them or fundamental information. Absolutely. We have charged them going, percent is required. But we need to get this resolved, show that it's.
So are they very
comfortable with us? The office.
Right, yeah, but, I guess the other question I have is that. Are the payments written so that it's an automatic, succession, should, if it transfers? Or is it,
There needs to be our, we would need to provide her to people. Okay, and we can't, like, can't withhold that for our basis.
right,
Okay.
but. Depending on what. They have. Extra or. Their financials, they may or may not gratitude, but there's like a. Sometimes it's not worth it for them to do that.
Yeah, right.
So. Do they skip that piece if they're just, if they buy it and they give that as a right of succession?
We can see that.
In other words, who should you or the right check, if somebody would be looking at, geez, you know, maybe we would get a budget for native or pilot, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes they say, no, we're not gonna do it. Yeah, but, so. Is it an automatic break of succession? The pilot goes with the chief of sale, only if we approve it.
Okay. So the pilot, if they don't get our approval, it's. And. Okay. But, you know, the example on seeing if they're meeting, I mean, it's in the. Right, so if they do not. Connect with us to transfer, and then each is terminated. They would have access.
Right, so let's figure this, so let's say that happens, then it goes to 23,000. Would still be
Yeah,
at, so.
Yeah, we can get it first, is that what you're saying, getting you first. So, right, so we can put space on, let's think, if there's ways of, first sell them, but I mean, that's kind of what this is. I was kind of assuming it was really close. I guess. And said, look, the thing's been, I think, longer than anyone anticipated, so.
So do we, like, as we're assessing interest for the penalties, is part like getting a bill once a month kind of thing? So it's getting that in place.
No, they've only gotten a bill for the initial.
So maybe we just, you can just talk to the bill, it sounds like you're.
Yes, we now have good content. For the bill. So. Cause I think that's changed for.
I mean, I'm. And. Sounds like giving them. In our processes. Maybe it's time to be just to see, be impressive on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should probably go to the board with a recommendation of some sort for this month's. Action this month, so we can get something going, whether that's a notice of default or an agreement to installment plan. That way we just have on record that we're not just 3 months.
I don't know what we would recommend, so, yeah, I think that. Like, what would we recommend though? Cause I mean, I was just going to know that we are still waiting for, I don't think, hoping the communications and they received the penalty notice, and next, we can send a letter or notice of people. Or, they've offered installments, which you can send. Are we nervous about that though? installment, if you don't wanna.
I. But it's.
I know.
It's really in that, like I said, precedence.
Yeah, I feel like that just,
It's just, I mean, we're having rough times too.
Yeah. Yeah, just to be talking about that, it's funny.
Right, so I don't really, I don't feel that. I like to what Rob has to say. And, yeah, you know. I don't want to say language in it, I said that. Should something happen and people be. Consider something, whatever, so if it was the case about having. Well, it's also the road where.
Yeah, there's a lot of board discretion involved in our that's of like. We can issue a notice to people and we can terminate. But we also have the option not to.
Right.
So there's a lot of discretion for the board to make decisions, based on the context and. You know, this context, basically, their business is highly based on. Retail displays and conference displays, and the conference business, for obvious reasons, inclined over the last few years, and they not. As the economy built, and in the way that they can afford, retail displays are not as. Highly needed as they used to be, so there is just different than what it was, and they're needing to find new types of work and types of clients. That has caused some tough times, like there's really that makes it, or it's really understandable that they're in a rough. Financial position right now, question is to what extent have already accommodated for some months. And not received any. You know, they're not like the big that options to me. You know, the city does do payment agreements on taxes. So it would be a.
for commercial
Yeah.
property too.
Yeah. I know what you should said. What we done, so it is. It is available to one taxpayer. That said, they're not paying for taxes and they're paying a portion of the taxes. So I think one thing we do is like talk about. The next meeting, just getting his opinion on having some sort of information into this. I will also. I can also reach back out to them and say, hey, it's really helpful, no promises, but we hope it would be a.
Yeah.
You know, get to see them big booster, kind of there in the past, but it helps to know that. There's something we should be this.
Okay, so then we'll lean on Rob for the recommendation to the board.
And then we can. Next steps. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was the one addition to the agenda. Thank you for bringing it up, because I forgot.
Thanks for forwarding the report.
Did the county ever pay or address, I guess, they'll be.
Okay, so how do we clear that up? Because you like jinxed it when I asked you about it. Because I was like, okay, so you're leaving it on here and then what happens? So what is there anything that we can do at that point to get that moving? Just to close it up? So,
Did we pay that for?
No, we haven't paid it, we've been waiting to hear from them. They couldn't
policy too, I mean. Don't they owe us still then, like, don't we have, oh no, we would owe them.
We would owe them money. We requested a waiver, they have not responded to that waiver, they have. Their council has been in touch with Rob on and off.
So they're not like asking for it, like, that's so weird.
They just got.
Well, how will payments towards a bank?
But I mean, if they're not, I mean, it's kind of, I guess, yeah, look at now roles are a little reversed. So now it's like, at least we're like reaching out to these people and trying to get it, but I mean, on the other hand,
Formal request. Formal
Yeah.
request.
so we haven't heard from them, so we just don't, I mean,
They actually never asked us for that in the first place, we told them that. And we requested it, we did. So it is a little bit different, but not totally different.
we were. Total lab on it.
So I'll check them over again, and see if them. An answer one way or the other, and if the answer is no, the answer is no.
I would say that the answer, if I'm actually response, but it's a yes.
I wish we could have them still better.
Yes, yes.
Right. People assume that you approve this.
Good, now we know. Just kidding.
There will not be a next time. Not as long as I'm around.
So we have where, so although this report is through June 25th, we are at mid-year. So I'm looking at the budget versus actual and just noting that, you know, it's showing 59% of budgeted expenses have been made, but, so that's really a terrible situation to be in, and, so we're just about on how to roll it over those. And then, yeah, we're just still working on that revenue side, but just. So we went through the accounts receivable report, our trial balance is just a total of that. That's all I have on the financial reports. Tracy, brought up the capitalization policy again. So that we could get that reviewed, so there was, okay, so this, the capitalization policy that you included, this is the corrected one then? Yes. Okay, so basically, we just had a question of the thresholds. Correct.
Yes, originally we got confused because the number up here for what is capitalized was different from the number down here, and we're trying to figure out if, like, the capital asset definition and capitalization are capitalized assets are different things. Very confused about it. Trying to figure it out. That was a typo, and it is all the same thing. So this is basically the same policy. It's just corrected to have, we can change the $500, that's just kind of the recommendation. And I think for the types of things that we usually buy, we don't typically get anything more than $500, so they're thresholds. And then
I agree, we can make, if I was to make a suggestion, I think I would actually bump it up to 1,000 just because of today's world of it. And then I would actually recommend to go through with those assets that we have listed, just to like easily be putting us off because.
yeah, and we talked to, about better. About that, and she explained that we can just take those off the books. Just do the journal entry and have notes to clearly indicate what was removed and the details of that asset. And we have to make sure that it's something that is fully depreciated and no longer in use or is disposed of. So just as it's fully appreciated, doesn't mean we should take that to the quotes, like our website, it's gonna be fully appreciated, but unless we make a new one. It's right, we're still using that website, we should do it on quotes. But all these assets that are like 1998 printer that doesn't exist anymore, like we could take that.
Yeah, just that furniture and equipment line, I think is.
We still have some filing cabinets and use that I'll keep on there. So on the website, we have on there just about everything that's going to come on.
And, not big deal.
It's just a secret.
Like, oh, this is really easy, let's do this. But that won't make or break anything other than that because it'll,
It's all
Process,
process,
yeah.
yes. Um,
but besides that, I think, I mean, and even this year, I mean, do we want to recommend $1,000 for to increase for capital asset?
yeah, I mean, I can update that. I can bring that off as well. So that makes it probably should be. Because, I mean, like, the two numbers, one was 550, so this is like a.
Yeah, well, and I guess in my mind, like, if we are to buy, like. Okay, would be a cabinet that we can find for $500 at. Staples, like now we shoot it over. Whatever, so just it's something. And that just be. Do that and say that we discussed it. That's our production plan for the audit.
Yep, and so the only other change is adding this removal of capitalized assets, so I basically just took that here. And then everything else is the same for the last.
So so the next agenda item is reviewing the pilot, and the process, the SOP process.
Yeah, so the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. They're kind of boring.
Yeah, well, so I feel like we kind of went through the corrected, wasn't that, wait, this is for this was the state audit, right?
It's this is the state, the capitalization policy was recommendation from our financial audit. The corrective action plan for the state audit included, I think it's action 5.
Yeah, properly, it's number 5, properly managed pilot payments. So that was at for the finance committee, so we would do that this month.
So I figured I'd just pop in here to start taking a look at it. I've already identified a couple of things. So one, it needs to be facing to be updated to reflect our QuickBooks system, just as around now, and all these screenshots are from all the QuickBooks screenshots are from I don't know screenshots.
Oh my gosh, we know those notes, but you.
I did it, it's Samantha did part of it, so I think Samantha wrote the original one, so I choose her.
Oh, okay.
And then I just updated them, last year. So, but like all these QuickBooks screenshots are from this competition, so those need to be updated, and then I wanted to add a section about reporting to the board and doing the annual reporting in March to the disbursement. SME. So that gets to the proper procedure, something reviewing. So those are the two updates that I identified. So far, everything else will be pretty close to that thread. It's the corrections. You know, but that's so like, how to copy last year's guidelines first. I never maybe thorough, maybe it's too thorough.
Yeah, but it's nice having one of the pictures like that. We have, no, I love it. It's great. Especially for like even. I just think that it's like. I kind of like taking it into an so you're able to learn all these things you learn, so it's really nice to have like
Visual.
in.
And there's always the like.
Like you must have also updated it with the new spreadsheet, or, so did you have that spreadsheet like a long time ago? Or, okay.
That spreadsheet has existed for a long time, it just wasn't used for a couple of years. Understand it. And so now I've started using it.
Yeah,
But this did get updated at the beginning of 2024. Cedar hired me to update, well, they hired me to write SOPs, and I was like, great. Where are the SOPs we wrote already? I'll update them. They're like, what?
did you find that, or did you have to start all
Oh, yeah,
over?
we found them. They're in a folder called 90-day SOPs. And, sorry. So yes, we found the SOPs, I updated them at the beginning of 2024, I think it's weird. And, so some of this stuff has been updated. Recently, 2024, look, there's a lot of stuff.
So is this a screenshot from your desktop QuickBooks then?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, so these screenshots need to be updated to reflect the online system, because it's a little bit different.
Yes.
So I'll update it. Books. I love this. So,
online version is not as intuitive.
not as intuitive as we have all the see, like, I'm so used to having multiple AR accounts, you really can't.
Well, I also don't like how you can like multiple.
But it is convenient for access. Yes. It's a bit much to know. Thanks. Karen, I figured that in.
I did. And I like the illustrations too. Right, illustration was another, I used to training. That I learned, I could quickly assess whether the person was a visual learner or audio. Some huge difference.
Yes.
Visual.
Yeah, no, I think we could even take this to the, because I understand like we're in the finance committee, we like these and it's good, but I think even if you just forward, they would think, oh, that's how that person kind of helps to explain that convoluted pilot. And put it all under the line. I mean, it's helped to be in my career, so thank you.
Yeah, so maybe what we'll do is we'll work on updating it and then we'll, like, just as an FYI, I think that's part of the work, just like maybe an initial next one. This is something else in this. So, okay, that this might be helpful context.
Yeah, I think we do, and then we have to note it somewhere, like, we have to follow up with the state for all of these.
There's not really.
There's not, okay.
But
I'm just saying, at least it's documented that we talked.
yeah, so we get something that's to talk to the board about it, and maybe I'll just send out the statement. Send it to our auditor, so see that, so
I know you didn't ask for it, but.
I know we really don't want this, but here it is. And then we did actually, what a 90% credit. He's reviewing another action. Is thinking about it. Like the follow-up and what it means, like what happens after. He's on the other front of the extra lines. That are the
Hope he brings that to a broader term also, and brings a different perspective that people look at it. Like, even, or maybe I saw like the update for testing or anything. Like, there might be an explanation, but I'm not saying that, okay, I'm just saying that. But
it's often more than lost. But yeah, so it sounds like he's gonna reach out to his questions and.
It was conversation with,
Robert Horton, private citizen,
oh,
proactive listeners and the refugee action plan, this is context. Just, get ahead of it. And not ahead of them.
So would you say the only thing that needs to be updated is just the screenshots of the books then?
Then I said I want to the receiving and dispersing pilot payments, I want to add a section about the reporting to the board on a basis and the annual review of all options in March. There might already be something about reporting to the board in here, but there's a intentional, there's never been an intentional report out to the board on an annual basis of reporting in this way, so like, I really want to spend our TBA saying, here are the pilots, here's who paid when, here's the reports that we got back, and then feed them one back and reports, these are the ones that didn't hit their employment goals, here's why. And have intentional conversation in March about the pilots that are not meeting their goals. So I didn't want to just put some that section in there, and this, that's what we look about that in. You look out, let's see. Oh, at the annual review.
And would you know how it happens, we need that monthly also to keep it right?
Yeah, I think that it's already, because that might already be in here, if it's not, I'll add it. That, you know, the. Pilots for invoices, which then unfortunately for basis.
It was and was the book,
Yes.
yeah, that's what it would be.
well, orange just wait till September, we spent.
It's still September for what?
It was maybe 4 things, it's July, August, September, October, 4 things, it's passing to see, I still, but that's not needing to change.
Right.
I mean, I think if we had conversations with them, we just sent an updated invoice with any penalty, like if there's interest that needs to be charged, then why not? Because that kind of sounds like they're like, well, whatever, wait till we get that reimbursement, but.
That's not what they said.
Oh, well, either way.
That was my assumption.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
But I mean, following on the ground, just. I mean, whatever. But then. So that's, I mean, those. I think that's, your packet that we have, so if. By. What would you say by a next board meeting, you'll have this updated, or do you need me to do anything on any?
I don't, nothing with this, I think I should. I don't know if I'll have it ready by the time that happens to August, but I think.
Okay, so I'll just note that we reviewed it,
That will review it, we'll send out the updated.
so. And then I'll, also on that by saying. Done, the note that we're going to add that mentions. Annual report by, the next time we. So when we remember, you're gonna have the right version of it, or like, something kind of,
Yes.
drafting what I'm going to say to report. So I'll just say, in September, we're going to be invoiced, so within a couple months, you're going to see. What the annual report looks like, and then, finance meeting will be in October, where we. Kind of like it, want to reports on dates on.
Yeah, so the annual reports, we won't get that until. Until Q1 2026, so like.
Oh, the annual report will be after,
Yes.
after the,
Yes, yes, the annual report is for the 2025 calendar year. So we send that to them in December and they don't have to send it back until February.
I guess I was thinking the annual report was the list of the,
Yeah,
the.
so the pilot invoicing will happen in September. And we'll do the pilot invoice disbursement report through January 1st when they're due. And then in January, hopefully they'll all be paid. And we can stop And then the annual report, but we'll review kind of that performance as well as the annual reporting in March. Because we asked for the reports back by the beginning of February or mid-February. We don't have to like chase a few of them, so by our March meeting, we should have all of them and should be everything, errors reporting them, so. When we do our errors reporting, we'll also review the performance. So maybe that's something that goes in workings instead of distance.
Okay, I'll just note that, we're going to. So what's added, what is included in the SOP is when we would hand out the updated reports to the board. And that would go alongside with the annual report in March.
We'll take a final look at the pilots and a look at the annual reports in March.
Yeah, and thank you for keeping. I mean, right, like ideally, there's nothing to report, like at this point, but there is. And I think that is all we have on that, or as far as the finance committee goes on our agenda. Did you have anything else on the agenda?
Nope. Okay, my next meeting is currently October 1st at 5 p.m.
That's fine. So I make a motion to. All in favor?
Well, that's the, I was like, oh, what was that motion? Thank you both.
You.